This video is inspired by a comment Salvatore made in one of my posts. He said, "It's okay, but there are way more triggering topics to talk about. For example, how 6-year-old boys are being falsely accused of sexual harassment for touching their female classmates." This topic in particular is controversial but needs to be talked about because many men are dealing with the dark consequences of the MeToo movement and, let's be honest, selfishness of some chicks. To illustrate more, I'll comment on a Forbes article in which a woman reveals the dark side of the MeToo movement. As always, the link is in the description in case you want to check it out for yourself. Stay tuned because the topic is absolutely important, and it's about time modern society stops blaming men who do no harm to the world. But before we go deeper, let me share the comment of the day. Shout out to Jeremy Konegny. He said, "We aren't gone, but we did go away. You made your choices and you made them loud and clear. This is that moment where we can say that you made your bed and you invited half the town to sleep in it with you, so lay in it. Oh, plus nah, forget it, you weren't listening anyway." Jeremy well said. Don't forget to reach out to us by email to claim your $5. As usual guys, I will pick one comment from each video. It may be the funniest, the most liked, or one that touched me, so don't forget to leave a comment and you may be our next winner. Now, back to the video. Embrace your masculinity. Let me put everything into perspective. In the first paragraphs, the article writer Carolyn Borisenko talks about being raped by a coworker, but no one believed her. Then, a decade later, the Me Too movement arose and, naturally, she was absolutely in favor of it given her traumatic experience. She further posits that many victims took their power back, and finally, she gathered the courage to speak up and share her story publicly. This movement has caused the complaints about harassment to increase. So far, so good, because honestly, I want peace and everyone to feel safe and protected from degenerates. Don't get it twisted. In fact, if you are a MGTOW, you know better than any other that you love peace and hate aggression. That's why the most dangerous men are the ones with neediness and a scarcity mindset. Since they get no women or just want to convey the idea they're powerful, they use their authority or power to harm innocent girls. These men must of course go to jail because they're absolutely detrimental for society. Now, here's the interesting part of the article. The author recalls the idea that everything is about balance. Take a look at what she says. And in the wake of the movement came stories of men who were afraid of what might happen if they were falsely accused. Not long after I told my story on Twitter, a Morning Consult poll showed that 57% of US adults were equally concerned for young women and the harassment they could face as they were for young men and the false allegations they could face. Stories have since come out showing that upwards of 60% of men are afraid to mentor women at work, fearing what will happen if they meet behind closed doors without a third party present. On top of that, according to research from the Pew, the majority of respondents, yes, both male and female, said that the Me Too movement has made it harder for men to know how to interact with women in the workplace. Men have a hard time discerning whether a behavior will be considered misogynistic or a bit of physical contact could be regarded as harassment. What she says next is even more shocking. It can be easy to dismiss these concerns, as many people have. They say we must believe all women. They say it's a joke that men are afraid. They say that if men don't do anything wrong, they have nothing to worry about. They say they should check their male privilege. They point out repeatedly that false reports only make up 2% of all claims. And they say that when false allegations do happen, the cost of those careers and reputations is a price they are willing to pay in favor of the movement. This last phrase is proof that many individuals prefer ideologies and emotions over logic and facts. As you might know, although we supposedly live in the golden age of science and innovation, many folks out there love relativism and fantasies so much they cannot accept ideas that don't align with their way of thinking. They have an emotional reaction to everything. If you say, for instance, that men also face hard or even harder problems in today's world, whoa, shocking, these NPCs will just call you names and try to school you by saying there's an obvious male privilege. If this is not concerning enough, take a look at the author recognizing how the best-selling author Alan Dershowitz has had to fight against the dark forces of the MeToo movement. Dershowitz recounts his side of the story in the book Guilt by Accusation: The Challenge of Proving Innocence in the Age of #MeToo. His case is particularly interesting because it started before the #MeToo movement and continues today. When asked if he noticed a difference between perception before and after, he said it was very noticeable. There's no question, before the #MeToo movement, I had won. It had gone away. I had the submission, I had the tapes, the recording, the emails, I had a full investigation by the former head of the FBI who said it was false. I had a judge who struck it down, the lawyers had withdrawn it, it was over, it was completely over, and then the MeToo movement came, and suddenly it was resurrected. This lawyer has put simply how the judicial system works, so take a look at his point. If you call a woman a liar, even if you didn't do what you're being accused of, you're guilty of calling a woman a liar, so there's no way out. If you don't deny it, you're thought to be guilty. If you do deny it, you've committed an additional political sin, so it's a trap, and it feels just horrible. They either assume your guilt, or they assume you shouldn't be asserting your innocence. I had someone say to me at a public event, I know you're innocent, but why don't you just fall on your sword in order to help the #MeToo movement? I said, I'm not going to do that. This demand this individual in the public made is just mind-blowing. They're telling a man to just favor the movement and be a sacrificial lamb. This is also proof that many people are subscribing to the idea that the individual does not matter and the collective or group or however you want to name it is more important. Dershowitz described the challenges he has faced in being accused, including the financial cost of fighting the accusation, to the embarrassment of having to tell every potential client of the claims while he is pursuing it in court, to the impact it has had on his family, including his grandchildren. It's been terrible. No one who knows me believes it, none of my personal friends. Even those who are really upset at me about the Trump thing don't believe it because they know I'm not that guy. I'm not a player. But it has still had a terrible impact on my grandkids who are in school where people believe everything that's said, and on my children, it's had a terrible impact on us. I'm a victim, and no one wants to treat me like a victim. This is not the only case for sure, since many young men are being falsely accused too. I'll leave the article in the description box too. This young man, called TF in the lawsuit documents, has suffered a lot because of some of his female classmates. One of them even said she just didn't like him, so she would do anything to get him expelled. Let's see how the lawsuit describes what this innocent young man had to go through apart from spending 9 days in juvenile detention. He was released on house arrest on April 18, 2018 with an ankle monitor and specific instructions from juvenile probation officer Michael Trago that he could not tell people about the ankle device and he could not wear shorts or other clothing that revealed the ankle device, even though it was during some of the hottest days of summer. He was not permitted to have any visitors, phone or internet access, and could not leave the house except for therapy, which he requires to deal with the psychological trauma he suffered, and to attend church. After 28 days, he was allowed outside the house only to mow his lawn, which he had to do in his long pants regardless of the temperature. He was unable to play during most of the high school baseball season and was told by the athletic director that she was not sure he could play baseball because every time he was wearing a Seneca Valley jersey, he was representing the school. TF was unable to play baseball or work at his summer jobs for part of the summer. I guess many people are too naive to understand what some men must face in order to go back to their normal lives after being falsely accused. Despite these two clear cases, ideology will prevail in the minds of the brainwashed, but thankfully, many men are waking up to this injustice, voicing their opinion, and, most importantly, avoiding all the trouble. How, you might ask? By going their own way. All these happenings have caused men to embrace singlehood because they know that dating is not worth the squeeze, and peace of mind is just so crucial to live a happy life. Anyway, that's it for today's video. As always, I wish you tremendous success. Now it's your turn. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember that if you leave the best comment, you will get $5. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video useful, hit the like and subscribe buttons, comment and share it. See you in the next video. Till next time.